This is the song. Listen, all right, play it. Go ahead. Play the song.
Without getting kicked off of YouTube. Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think...
Give her every right to play that song. It's just actually not a good song, Pearl. I love you, but that's hurting my eardrums. But fully endorse her right to sing the song. Is there another timestamp, Malik?
Yeah, there's another video.
Okay, but there was not another timestamp for that video?
No, you just sent it to 1 minute.
And this is Pearl's response.
Are we in a society where we can say what speech is allowed and what speech isn't allowed? So I get on. I'm a bit nervous because they just switched the guests, so I know nothing about the girl I'm going on with. And other than like what you Google in 10 seconds, you get on, and Pierce says I'm gonna go hard on you this time, something like that. And I'm like, oh really? And I'm shocked because his producers have said all week he's on my side. So I'm like, what? Okay, this is gonna be a different type of interview. They start the interview and they falsely accuse me of writing a song inspired by Nick Fuentes. You know, for someone that has millions of dollars backed by a network, why do you not have a research team? So either you know that I didn't attribute it to Nick, or you were just trying to spin a narrative. Why are we in a society where we can...
So Nick, your name was mentioned multiple times by Pearl, by Pierce Morgan. Typically when someone mentions a name, we give you a chance to respond. So here's my question. Are you an amazing music producer now? Are you planning on doing a duet with Pearl? What is happening?
I might, yeah. No, I'm not really musical, but honestly, I didn't know anything about this song. It was not dedicated to me. You know, I actually just saw it on Twitter when she posted it, and I said, what is she doing? Because, I text her all the time, and I tell her, like, when it comes to this stuff, you're going to get backlash. I even told her when I went on her show, I said, you're going to get backlash for doing this, and I think people don't really realize what that means until it happens, and I think, so... It definitely happened. She got a lot of backlash.
What's your relationship with Pearl now? Friends, colleagues,
we're friends.
Constituencies?
We're friends. Yeah.
Pearl made a major name for herself. She also went to college. Okay, she's also building a business.
She also played sports. She also played professional sports.
She also, up until today, has the right to vote.
Yeah.
What is Pearl doing wrong?
Well, she's not doing anything wrong. I think she's the only thing she's doing wrong is she should be married and have kids. But I agree with her, and she agrees with me on a lot of this stuff with the women, because she's in the red pill.
Well, obviously that's clearly her message. We're not even going to get into that. We know her message.
Absolutely.
And again, I've had Pearl on the show. We've had agreements, disagreements. Pearl can come on the show anytime she's in town. She knows we're cool. How's she going to build a YouTube business but also have kids?
Yeah, she's going to have to choose. She's going to have to make a decision. But, I've seen it happen before. I've had friends who are YouTubers, women, and then they go and have kids, and then they quit. I've seen it happen before. There were actually two prominent examples. Lauren Southern, she was a big right-wing YouTuber back in the day, and allegedly she said she was retiring to have a kid. There was some other stuff going on. And then she pops back up a year later, hey, remember me? I'm back on my YouTube channel. And she got this divorce and has all these problems and whatever. But I knew another girl I don't want to name. She's not active anymore. She was a big activist in the right-wing scene, got married, had kids. No one's ever heard from her again on the internet. I talk to her still. But
let me ask you guys a question real quick, because I want to get to the next topic. The song, as not good of a song as it was, I fully endorse the right you can sing this song. Why can't we talk about the Jews? Oh, man. Okay. Jewish. Don't cancel me. Does anyone here think that she should not be able to sing that song? What do you think, Nima?
Because I know Pearl, and I've seen her staff at her home, and it's pretty diverse. And, she was really welcoming to me, and she knows I'm Jewish, and I watched her repeatedly. I made jokes at her expense. And she didn't once complain, So like, what sort of person would I be if the moment she made a joke about Jewish people, that I snap back and say, and that's okay. And I actually think that breeds anti-Semitism. And I think when Chappelle made jokes on SNL, the best thing that happened was that he was permitted to do it.
Yeah.
I think when you ban people like him, Nick, it's the worst you can do because you make it like a forbidden fruit. And that's pretty much where I stand on that. So I do think he should have his freedom of speech as well as Pearl.
Is there any reason that song?
No,
real quick response.
I think it's sad that we've gotten to a point in American culture that people have to do this and then subsequently then try to get 15 seconds of fame or make money. It's like this is literally idiocracy. She should have the right to say, what she wants. She shouldn't be censored. But the fact that we have gotten to this point, that this is a topic of debate, shows you exactly where American culture is. And not to mention, the left and far left progressives, the culture wars, they love this stuff. You want to know why? Because this is the kind of stuff, people like Nick, for example, are the reason the left loves people like Nick, because then that they can take somebody like him and take his comments, take what he says, and then spin it to that is what every America First person believes in.
Do you feel that's an interesting question. Do you feel a responsibility for that? Because there is a lot of commentary where they almost make you like the boogeyman for all right-wing conservatives. And even though what you believe they're saying is not true, do you see how it could hurt your side of the political aisle?
I'm not conservative. I'm not a Republican. If I hurt the Republican Party, good. I mean, I support Trump. I don't support
But he's going to be the candidate for the Republican Party, so that's kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth.
But that's a big difference.
He's going to be the Republican nominee.
And you are
But don't you understand the difference between Trump and the establishment?
I do, between MAGA.
Yeah, we all do.
100%.
Okay.
I wasn't a point.
What party is Trump?
Republican.
Okay, so...
And I support Trump, but I mean,
But
the question was about...
him.
Hang on, but the question was about... whether I'm hurting Republican candidates or something, and I say I don't care about Republicans because my message is the answer to liberalism. It's the only message that isn't liberal. What Republicans are pushing is liberalism driving the speed limit. They don't have any problem with transsexuals. They want to put an age limit on it.
Yeah, but Trump's not pushing that, and you are directly hurting him and undermining his campaign and what his movement is and the people who really do believe in him when you sit there and try to be a surrogate or an ambassador to what you claim to be part of the movement. That's not part of the movement.
Really? Were you at Stop the Steal? You were at January 6th?
I was not there.
Okay, because I was supporting the president. And that's why I got put on a no-fly list. So, maybe you should support the president then.
Yeah, I don't know that politically that helped the Republican Party, though. It's January 6th.
Well, it's not about helping the party. It's about it was the right thing to do because,
the
we
original,
can't actually get into this because we're on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, I was a presidential appointee for the Trump administration.
Okay, here's where I want to go here. You brought up Trump. You famously had a meeting with Trump, allegedly. I'll let you talk about this. Two stories here. If you don't pull up that clip, and then we'll tell this. So regarding Trump, regarding politics, but more specifically regarding Kanye, you mentioned Milo earlier. November 2nd, 2022, Donald Trump hosted yourself and Kanye. At the time, you were Kanye's campaign manager, I want to say?
No, I was comms director. Well,
communications director.
Potentially. I was perspective.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You were working with Kanye.
Right.
Formally or informally?
Informal. Well, informally.
Was he paying you at all?
Yeah, I was being
Okay, so that's pretty formal. You guys had dinner at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence here in Florida. The meeting was at Kanye's request. West said that Trump was really impressed with Nick Fuentes. Trump released a statement after the fact, contacting him earlier in the week to arrange the visit. West, quote unquote, unexpectedly showed up with 3 of his friends who I knew nothing about, with who Trump dined. The dinner was quick and uneventful. Trump further elaborated several days later that he met with West to help a seriously troubled man who just happens to be black, who has been decimated by his business and his virtually everything else in his life. Then you've got Kanye, recently allowed back on Twitter, I want to say. Elon Musk unbans the account of Kanye West, yay. Kanye, when you see this, we're calling you yay, bro. Yay. As he pledges to make X the most valuable financial institution in the world. Nick, make sense of what's going on. I mean, we saw Kanye go on rants that make you look like a JV squad of anti-Semitism. Like, he went there, full on. You met with Trump. You're a huge Trump fan. He sort of walked back the meeting, right? He's like, yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. He unexpectedly showed up. Makes sense of what the relationship is with Kanye, what happened with Trump, and what's really going on.
Well, they had a dinner scheduled. I came out there to L.A. To work with EA on political stuff, and that was, so the dinner happened the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
They reached out to you?
It was a long story how we got connected. It was through a couple of intermediaries to Ye, that is. And so I came out there maybe 4 or 5 days before the dinner. And the night before the dinner, we had a big session in the Donda headquarters, the Yeezy headquarters. And we were talking about politics and everything, and I really shined. They were fielding questions, and unsurprisingly, it wasn't even about those topics that Ye was talking about. It was actually about how do we deal with the issue of gay marriage? And I said, well, you don't attack gay marriage. I said, you promote traditional marriage instead. And anyway, so he loved that, and Ye invites me to go to the dinner with him the next day. And he thought it would be funny. He wanted to fly Spirit Airlines to the dinner. He just thought that would be funny. He's like, I'm going to meet the president on Spirit Airlines.
Okay.
Yeah, in coach.
Amy, you like that one?
It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wound up, the reservation got messed up, and so we wound up flying United, though, and we got there. And I wasn't even expecting to be at the dinner because I was told that I would probably be intercepted at some point because maybe
You're
if
on
Trump,
a no-fly list.
Well, not even necessarily that, but people are aware of me in the GOP, like Catalina Loft. They don't want me to have that level of access to the president. And so I thought, someone's going to intercept me. I'm not going to be able to sit down. But he came out at the Mar-a-Lago Club. He invited us to dine, and we sat down and we had the dinner. And it was relatively uneventful. I mean, the most newsworthy thing that came out of it is that Ye actually did ask him to be his running mate, because that was the thrust of the meeting. Is
Kanye asked Trump to be
his
so
vice
like
president.
Kanye would be the president.
Trump was pretty insulted by that.
And Trump. To read the room, Kanye. My guy.
Well, once again, he thought that would be the funniest
Was
thing.
that tongue-in-cheek? Was that
I think he
serious?
was being serious, wasn't he?
He thought it'd be funny, but it was also serious.
Now, did Trump know you were coming to the dinner?
No, he didn't know I was
Okay,
coming.
so it was unexpected.
There were 3 other people, though.
Were you, I guess, how disappointed were you that Trump walked back the meeting with you?
I was actually pleasantly surprised because I thought he would fully disavow, but he didn't fully disavow.
Okay.
He had to. He said what he had to say.
You worked with Kanye. How long did you work with Kanye for?
I worked with him for about 6 or 7 months.
Okay, so almost a half a year. That's not like 6 or 7 days like Anthony Scaramucci when he was the comms director of Trump's campaign. So as comms director, or a campaign manager for that matter, what statements would you advise Kanye to walk back that he's made?
Oh, none of it. None of it. I thought that...
You think Hitler invented the microphone?
Well, I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know. I think he meant
That's-
like
I
a
don't think
specific kind of a
I don't
microphone.
think Hitler invented the microphone.
Nick,
you don't think...
Whoa, look at the attacks
Yeah,
coming
I'm sorry,
down
guys,
from this
Nick,
side of the panel.
Nick, you don't think that any of those
Bring in
statements...
Nima. Nima's got something to say about Ye's comments.
Nick, I just want to know respectfully, and I ask this respectfully. Do you find it difficult to find a wife that would be okay with you having a micro penis?
Oh my
Okay.
God,
Oh my
bro.
gosh. Come on,
What's going
Nima.
on?
Like,
I
come on,
disavow.
Nima.
I
That's
disavow.
like
You're making me look
irrelevant-
better the way you do that.
Like,
No, I mean,
by
Nima,
comparison.
I mean, if I was 40 years younger,
Nima.
and
Are
you
you
took
interested
12
in my
inches,
penis? You want to go and see it
No,
somewhere?
I just
give
think
you a
if I was 40
demonstration.
years younger and you took 12 inches off my dick, you'd probably try to fuck me.
Nima,
wouldn't
that's
you?
not even
That's
a
very
relevant
That's
conversation right now.
Let's back
talk
up. Nima,
about it in a
that's
valid.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's helping me
Yeah,
out here.
whether it's good or it's bad, whether it's whatever religion,
It's
that's a topic of
ridiculous.
conversation. But you guys can go in the back and figure that out later.
Oh, no promises.
Okay.
No promises. Okay.
But as Kanye's campaign manager potentially,
Well,
or communications,
Comms
some of those comments were beyond
let me
shocking.
explain, let
You
me
would say
explain.
you wouldn't advise him to take back any of those comments?
No, because I got interrupted here. But no, because, and here's the thing. Ye is Well, number one, he's totally serious. Let me just say that. I'm not trying to undermine what he said, but he's also an artist, and he's somebody who is a visionary. His job is to push the society forward by saying things that are shocking. He said, he explained it on InfoWars. He said, I'm the battering ram. I blow down the door, and we have the conversation. And you know what happened as a result of all of those remarks? Whether like them, don't like them, offended, a national conversation took place. And I think that a lot of people became aware of things that we don't talk about. Like, for example, the abuse of athletes and artists with contracts. Nobody was talking about that before, but people wanted to beat him over the head and say, well, you can't say this and you can't say that. What about our suffering? And Ye had the wherewithal to stand up and say, well, what about abortion? What about black abortion? What about the contracts? What about these other things?
But I understand that he does have some points. But if you ever want what you're selling to go mainstream, right? That's what we're talking about here. Look, if you want to be a 1%, like the same advice I'd give to the Green Party or the Libertarian Party or the America First White Nationalist Party, whatever it is, you have to be able to be like, listen, we can't say, yeah, Hitler was actually a good guy. Like, how is that ever going to go mainstream in America?
Sometimes a person isn't out to create something for mass consumption right now. You know,
they're out for themselves, which is what...
Here we go again, the
Germany,
genius, the college-educated genius. Sometimes you have to push the envelope to move the ball forward. And it doesn't, like, for trends to change, for attitudes to change, someone has to be the first mover. Somebody has to stand up and say something that at this time would be considered outrageous.
I think oftentimes it's a pendulum effect as well, and we're seeing it even with like the trans stuff right now. Like everything, like this society just really struggles to find a balance. I feel like before it was like, oh no, trans people, banish them to the furthest corners of society, and now it's like, oh, let's embrace all of them, and you know, kids can. It's like, can we ever just agree on a middle ground? I think that people are responding to the extreme push from the left, and it is creating some very bombastic messages in some regard, but I think there's some validity coming out of it as well. Just depends on how you interpret it.
But to Nick's comments earlier, the issue is you took what you wanted to say for your own movement, for your own platform, like when you mentioned, I don't want you close to the president or whatever. I went up against Adam Kinzinger, who was notoriously a rhino. There are a lot of people who just sit in the middle, who aren't right, left, who do support the president and all that, but you make the majority of the people who do support the president look bad by the things that you say, even though you're trying to say that you're helping them.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another, or if you want to watch the entire SOSCAST, click right here.